Hello and welcome to our special coverage of the 12th. This year's demonstrations saw tens of thousands of Orangemen and Orange women at 19 different venues. We've had more cameras at demonstrations than ever before, and tonight we'll bring you reports from across Northern Ireland. The main parade was, as ever, in Belfast, where thousands of Orangemen, bandsmen and supporters took part. Conor Macaulay followed the action.
The size of the Belfast demonstration can only really be appreciated from a distance. Thousands of Orange men and tens of thousands of their supporters flooded into Belfast city centre for the annual parade. Earlier, curious onlookers from other cultures had come out to watch as the marchers assembled, and the County Grand Master gave thanks for a break in the weather, which saw the day go off without rain.
I've been watching the skies all week, and when I got out of my bed this morning, I looked out the window and it was lovely to see the sun, and I hope it stays there.
The lodges of the Belfast district and the accompanying bands made their way along the route, some of them sedately, some of them with a little more energy. Queen Victoria kept a close watch on proceedings, overlooked in turn by the Belfast Eye, and from that vantage point you could get a clear view of the parade snaking through the city centre. Among the spectators, there were many from home and some from further afield.
Somebody actually told me there's a helicopter that's hovering above us at the moment, just in case a riot occurs.
Does that make you nervous at all?
No, I'm from South Africa. We know a lot about riots.
At the cenotaph, there was a short pause as the Belfast officers laid a wreath to the dead of 2 world wars. The ceremony over, it was back on track and a tight timetable to get to the demonstration field on time. It took 2.5 hours for the parade to reach Barnettsdomain, and the crowd was enjoying the spectacle.
We're enjoying the parade. It seems to be a very nice day and everybody's having a holiday and enjoying themselves.
I just love coming out and just everybody together and everybody having a good laugh. It's good fun.
Also in the crowd, a familiar face, Conservative MP Anne Widdecombe. She's making a documentary about the Reformation and had come to experience the 12th for herself.
Very colourful, very noisy, very Protestant. Today was very calm, it was very peaceful. We went through what used to be a flashpoint, which was where the march actually goes past a Catholic church. If you look round, there were no crush barriers, there were very few police vans. Now, when I think of how demonstrations like this are policed in London, this is quite remarkably relaxed.
Unfortunately, no one had explained the etiquette of not crossing the parade to the MP for Maidstone and the Weald. When she cut through this lodge, the man at the back with the ceremonial lance wasn't impressed and made his feelings known. From the platform, there were the usual resolutions on faith and loyalty and a heartfelt appeal for unionist political unity. Then, the speech is over. There was just time for a well-deserved rest before the long walk home.
At the demonstration in Ballyclare, a former Deputy Grand Master of the Orange Order launched a scathing attack on the DUP. The Reverend Stephen Dickinson said Sinn Féin would never have been in government if it had not been for compromises by the DUP. Pete Melly has this report.
From Foundry Lane to 6 Mile Water, the parade made its way around the town. But it was at the field where the Reverend Stephen Dickinson addressed the gathered crowds.
And we're living in days when some who stood and should be standing with us in our struggle for what is right are standing on the other side. And in so doing, they are as bad as our enemies. IRA terrorists could never have been in the government of Northern Ireland if it hadn't been for the compromise of the Democratic Unionist Party. And as we watch the charade unfold at Stormont day after day, those compromisers are giving away our rich heritage to the enemies of Ulster. Those who used to stand fast have betrayed us. Those who once were the lion in Ulster politics have become the pussycat.
Delivering a robust address, he also attacked the Order's new policy of inclusion.
And in two of those flagship 12th celebrations, the Chinese community were asked to take part. They were asked to bring their dancing dragons. And brethren and friends, today, that's paganism. Whenever those lions dance, whenever they dance with the dragons, it's to drive away evil spirits. It's to bring good luck to people. It's to bring happiness and all sorts of things. It's paganism. It's anti-Christian. It's contrary to the word of God. And I would want to say it very clearly from this platform today, it has no place in anything in connection with the Orange Institution on any day.
As the Orangemen gathered in Derryahy, it was with old and young side by side. Spectators lined the streets to watch. Some took a moment to relax, while others couldn't resist getting involved. Trailing the parade, the crowds poured into Dunmurry's Fullerton Park. One of the oldest men in the field has been parading for the last 76 years, and he certainly has some memories.
You see that wee fella there? I brought him when he was 4 years of age. That young man, when he was 4 years of age. I think he's well over 80 now.
But for the youngest participants, today was quite a new experience.
One of the bigger demonstrations outside Belfast was in the County Down town of Dromara. Several thousand took part as the parade came to the town for the first time in almost 2 decades. Julian O'Neill was there.
Dromara rolled back 3 centuries to begin its 12th. King Billy raised the cheer before the band took over. The parade took more than 1 hour to pass through, watched by crowds who had gathered here since mid-morning. The march route was short, just over a mile long, and by lunchtime the field at Rathfriland Road was filling up. The mood was cheerful, but the Order is concerned at the possibility of fresh attacks on its halls.
I know the police can't be everywhere at the one time, but they did give us a warning there on the 10th of July that there's going to be trouble around halls, and I think we have upped our own security on the halls. But it could be better.
When you talk about trouble at the halls, you're talking about the arson campaign continuing?
Arson campaign, paint throwing, just vandalism throughout the country is still rife.
But this was a day for the Order and its supporters to enjoy.
It's a family day out, and like everybody can come and see what's going on, and it's open to everybody if they want to come.
We have the Ulster Scots now connected with us, and this is part of it today, like a festival today. And it's very, very much, you know, for the people to enjoy it. And, you know, how could anything get offend anybody? You know, it's just a great day out for all.
Dromara also rumbled to the sound of the lambeg. It was estimated that 5,000 people took part in this parade. The last time it was held here was 16 years ago.
It was a more than memorable day in Ballymena, but particularly for one lodge. Gary Owen members celebrated their very first 12th as a lodge together and began the day dedicating their own banner at a short prayer service. The lodge is made up from members of the UDR, Royal Irish Regiment, Royal Irish Rangers and the RAF. It was all military style here. And while it was a day to celebrate, their thoughts were with 3 members of the lodge currently serving in Afghanistan.
They're serving with the Royal Irish Regiment, so they're no better today. They're doing a far dangerous job than what we're doing, so the best of luck to them.
It's exactly a year since they came up with the idea of forming their own lodge, so what's the story behind the banner?
It's a cap badge of the Ulster Defence Regiment. You have the Ulster Defence Regiment at the top, and you've also the lodge's name at the bottom, Gary Owen LOL 221. But we've also put on the medal which was bestowed upon the UDR and the Royal Irish Regiment to the regiment on disbandment of the home services here in Northern Ireland.
And that green banner was flying high in Ballymena along with many others. 30 lodges took part in the parade through the town. They'd come from all over the district and the streets were packed with onlookers, even some of the furry variety. The drums echoed through the town centre, even though not everyone drummed with the right equipment.
In Coleraine, there was a huge turnout as usual, with thousands either watching or taking part in the commemoration. The Order had been busy all week in the run-up to what was one of its flagship events. Here's Kieran Turish.
There was music in the air all week in the run-up to the 12th celebrations. Ulster Scots dancers put on special performances for shoppers out enjoying the sunshine.
I love it. Any music except for pop music's my thing, you know.
Very good, actually. 2 of them are my grandchildren.
The dancing was very good indeed. You hear the music, it will make you want to get up and dance. But I'll just sit around.
As part of the festival, local lodges supplied regalia for an exhibition in the town hall. Organisers said they wanted to give everyone a glimpse of the colour and spectacle of the 12th.
We've had a great reception now from all the public now as a whole, and that's the whole idea of having the festival, is to create an atmosphere and take away the myths and misconceptions that's around this time of the year, and have a fun time for everybody to enjoy.
Back outside Ahadooey's, Jean Thompson found her pancakes had their own special twist. It means they're always in huge demand.
Very popular, especially my wee dog. The wee dog will eat nothing else, won't eat loaf, and eats all pancakes.
And so it was on to the 12th. In all, around 60 lodges were on parade. They came from McCoskin, Coleraine itself, as well as Limavady and City of Londonderry Grand Lodge.
The first message we would have to get through to the people that, you know, we have our faith, we have our culture, and we're not a threat to anybody.
But the Order's worried about the threat to Protestant identity.
And so all this talk of shared future doesn't seem to be much of a shared future for us and for our Britishness and our culture and identity, and that's what we want to flag up today.
It's a subject the Order now hopes will be widely discussed.
A big part of the day is the noise and colour. And if noise was what you were after, the place to be was Tandragee. Our reporter, Gordon Adair, grabbed his earplugs and went along.
In County Armagh, it was a case of drums, and yet more drums. The organisers say over 100 lambegs thundered their way through Tandragee today. Not all of them, though, were from County Armagh. The County Antrim Fife and Drum Group were the guests of Derrycorry Lodge, and we caught up with them before they set off this morning.
The best drummers, in my opinion, in Northern Ireland are from Armagh. There's no question about that. Brilliant drummers. Where the difference lies here, in the Mid-Antrim area, the lodges and the drummers retained the connection with the fifers, and that's the difference.
Another Loughgall Lodge flexed their muscles to carry a rare and recently restored brass drum the entire length of the route.
Conservatively 150 to 200 years old,
so it's a wee bit special. A lot of time and effort, but where there's a will, there's a way. We usually take 4 or 5 traditional drums out, but we thought today would be a wee bit special. So hopefully whoever has enjoyed the pleasure, but certainly we have.
The day marked the culmination of a week-long festival. The man in charge says it was a big success for everybody.
We brought in the Chinese last night with us. We had local Polish people from the town was in with us last night. Today we have the Scottish bands over. We have brethren from England over walking with us. This morning there in the town we've had men from New Zealand come and shook our hands and congratulated us. And definitely now that we have 10 years of peace in this country, the 12th has turned round to the proper traditional Christian 12th of July, where the families are coming out and the visitors are coming back to Northern Ireland to support us.
This has long been recognised as the largest demonstration outside of Belfast, but with tens of thousands taking part today, the organisers believe it could be the biggest anywhere.
There was an international dimension at this year's celebrations at Mahara with a visiting lodge from the US, many of whom don't even have links to Northern Ireland.
What interests many of us, even if we don't have a sort of genetic connection to Northern Ireland, is the historic continuity. They almost don't even know what Northern Ireland is sometimes, you know, and you bring them to the 12th and they're blown away by the parades and the bands and the spirit.
Welcoming the American Lodge was the former Orange Order Grand Master, the Reverend Martin Smith, who paid tribute to the many marchers gathered. 60 lodges paraded through the town. The sun came out in time for sandwiches, but it wasn't everybody's cup of tea.
This year, Orangemen from Fermanagh and the border counties travelled to Kesh, and thousands of people lined the parade route through the village. Heavy rain in the morning had threatened to dampen proceedings, but by the time the parade set off, the wet weather had disappeared, and those on parade and their supporters were able to enjoy their annual day out. Following King Billy and the Fermanagh County officers were lodges from Cavan, Donegal, Leitrim and Monaghan. The 15 districts from throughout Fermanagh followed on behind. As ever, the drums were popular with the younger spectators, while others joined in with something easier to carry. At the end of the road and the demonstration field, it was time to relax.
Kesh is an excellent venue, and obviously a lot of people come to it, a lot of people from the border counties, not only from Fermanagh. So all in all, it's been quite enjoyable so far, and this is what we want the family atmosphere.
For some, this was their first experience of the 12th.
This is Joel Wilkin, and he got on very well today. He enjoyed the bands very much.
And I really enjoy it because we don't have some similar parade in Italy, so it was really good. It's a really multicultural experience.
So while visitors to Fermanagh enjoyed something new, old friends took the time to catch up and prepare for the walk home.
In Omagh, the Tyrone Lodges set out to create a more family-friendly event. The organisers claim they invented the idea of an Orange Fest years ago, and they say it's paid off with a greater understanding between the two traditions in the town, as Mervyn Jess now reports.
They crossed a weak bridge in strength of numbers. More than 3,000 Orange men and women from Tyrone paraded through Omagh to the tune of dozens of bands. And for the first time, a carnival float took part, depicting scenes from the Battle of the Boyne.
Victory is ours!
This is a cross-community, cross-border group based in Castlederg. Catholic and Protestant children were among those in the parade.
Protestant ones went to the 17th of March parade, so I kind of tried to mix them through all that. So.
And the children, they're very enthusiastic, it looks like.
Well, they seem to be getting on there, I don't know, that's the main thing.
And they weren't the only children getting into it. Most lodges bring their bands and banners to the 12th parade, but the brethren from Newton Saville brought their Orange Hall.
This is a replica of our hall.
It's a corrugated iron hall, is it still that way?
Still that way, yes.
Bit noisy when it rains.
Noisy, but it's up for repairs, hopefully in the next year or two.
It took a bit of puff to climb up the hill in the town centre in Omagh, and there was careful management of the marchers as the parade doubled back on itself. Omagh Orangemen say they have been doing Orange Fest for years, working closely with elements of the Catholic community.
Father Kevin, as he's locally known, I can recall at least 2 previous 12th of Julys when he has been here, and always with his little dog with him. He's a great community worker, and he certainly is more than welcome to come along and enjoy the music and the pageantry, which he always assures me is enjoyed. And we have noticed, especially at our Psalm Parade, where there was more people from what we call the nationalist persuasion who were out watching and enjoying, and that's only rightly so, because many from the Roman Catholic community lost their lives at the Psalm.
Scots Irish music and dancing entertained the crowds at the field, but the main attraction remained the same.
They came in their thousands to the historic village of Benburb, where young and old enjoyed more than just the good weather. Up to 70 lodges from 7 districts marched in the procession before a pause was made to commemorate 3 soldiers, Scottish soldiers, killed close by in 1972. After the march, Deputy Grand Master Edward Stevenson addressed the crowd, which included some special Scottish visitors.
We've been invited over after a chance meeting at Lochgall last year, the Brother Master of the Lodge in Benburb. It's been a tremendous honour and privilege for myself to lead a deputation of 22 bondsmen from Glasgow to walk in this mighty village of Benburb.
In Auchnacloy, 21 lodges took part in the 12th parade. The sun fought through the clouds to brighten up the family occasion. There was a wide range of music from pipe, silver, flute and accordion bands, and the crowd had their sandwiches at the ready. Some guests from abroad give a European feel to the day.
For me, it's a new parade, and it's great. It's beautiful. It's for me very good. Sehr schön. Smashing, yeah, immer gut.
It's been 11 years since there was a 12th parade in Newcastle. 70 lodges set off with 50 bands from the foot of Slieve Donard for the walk around the town. Young and old turned out with man and beast to watch them all go by. So what does it mean for those taking part?
The 12th has always been a multifaceted event, a day of historical commemoration. Sometimes there's a political content, there's a religious content, there's a cultural content, and there's a social content.
It means a super day, very good day, meet friends we maybe haven't seen since last year.
The 12th is slowly changing. It's coming round to what it used to be before the trouble started, more of a family event.
The 12th is a celebration of our Protestant heritage of the Reformed faith. We come down here and demonstrate it in the streets.
It means together with family and friends. It means fantastic musicianship, bands, and great atmosphere in the demonstrations that we take part in. And most importantly, it's a great time for us to portray our Protestant faith to the wider community.
We're sitting here in Donard Park in Newcastle. The sun's shining on us. It's a glorious day. Katie, you're having a good day, aren't you? We're going to go and get some ice cream here now, and it's all about fun. So it is. The Orange Order is a great place to be.
It's been 36 years since the County Down fishing village of Portavogie held a 12th parade. More than 60 bands from all over the Ards Peninsula and North Down took part. Local spectators were joined by lots of holidaymakers staying in nearby caravan parks.
I thought it was very good. I thought the bands were very well turned out. The lodges were very well turned out. Good atmosphere, plenty of people here, and the weather held out.
Since the summer comes, just waiting for the 11th and the 12th of July is 2 favourite dates. Better than Christmas, better than my birthday and all.
There was lots of atmosphere and everybody was just all happy to see it, and we were all following the bands. It was brilliant, we were dancing away to it.
If you want me to comment on the weather, coming from Zimbabwe, it's very cold here.
Members of the independent Orange Order gathered in Portglenone to mark their distinctive history. Around 25 lodges took part in the demonstration. Chris Page was there.
They're a relatively small loyal order, but proud of their place within the Orange culture. The Independent Orange Order has nearly 500 members, most of them from County Antrim. Their route was one of the most scenic today as they marched across the River Bann and even took in some extra action. One onlooker seemed to be eager to join the parade, but couldn't. Many marchers have been turning out on the 12th for decades.
I was an independent since I was born. I've been an Orangeman since I initiated, because my family were all in the independent order, and I never knew anything else in the 12th but to go with independent order.
The Reverend Ian Paisley has also been coming to this demonstration for many years, even though he isn't a member. This was his first 12th since he stood down as DUP leader. Politics didn't get a mention. Instead, the focus was on faith.
The spiritual life of this country is its real life. Its strength lies not in economics, but in its spiritual strength.
Some marchers made longer journeys to the field than others.
When I was coming across on the plane this morning, the plane was chock-a-block, and I seen a few Rangers shirts, I seen a few faces that I recognised.
I think the whole feel of it has become lighter in the last few years. It's more of a family day now.
Weather's good. People are here in their hundreds, so it's a good day.
And for kids, there was the opportunity to make some new friends.
The parade in Rasharkin was delayed for several hours because of a security alert. But once they got the all clear, the parade got off to a spirited start.
I won't spoil their day, so I think everybody will still enjoy their day, and the sun's shining, so.
And that false start did nothing to dim the enthusiasm of those involved and those watching.
The Cosby's the best. They're the best band.
The 45 lodges were accompanied by 35 bands on their way down Main Street and onto the field. And it wasn't just people who turned out to lend their support.
Well, for some, the marching started early. In Donegal, the annual Rosnala parade took place last Saturday. As Laura Lyon reports, Orange men and women from lodges in Donegal, Cavan, Leitrim and Monaghan were joined by marchers from slightly further afield.
Around 60 lodges, accompanied by 30 bands, took part in this parade. Many Orangemen have made the journey from Northern Ireland. Some have been coming here for years.
We've been coming here a great number of years now to Rosnala. My father used to run trips here years ago, and I've sort of kept the tradition going, coming to Donegal, and it's just a different 12th altogether compared to the 12th at home. You know, it's very relaxed and very enjoyable for everybody.
They were joined on the 1 mile route by an Orangeman for whom the day was a personal pilgrimage.
I've been an Orangeman for 50 years, and this is my 50th anniversary. So I've enjoyed the friendship, the fellowship, brothers and sisters and County Lodge members and Grand Lodge members, and it's just been, you know, great.
The Order in Donegal says it retains a buoyant membership with new recruits every year. The Grand Master says support and tolerance from the local community adds to the occasion.
It's always specialty. This, if you're from Southern Ireland, this is the real 12th for us. If you're from Cavan, Monaghan or Donegal, this is the real 12th for us.
As usual, there are many attractions for those out for the day. For others, it's a chance to take in the beautiful scenery of this part of Donegal.
And that's where we end our special coverage of the 12th.